It certainly cost the Cleveland Browns at least 3 points. That was right down at the goal line. I think the most impressive thing is just the third down conversions for both of these football teams down. They're going up and down the field. But let me make this point. In the first quarter, Kevin Mack for Cleveland had 6 carries for 38 yards, 3 receptions for 17 yards, 55 yards in a quarter, and he's still out with that stomach flu. Tim Manoa is nowhere close to the replacement of Kevin Mack. Eventually, I do believe that injury or that illness to Kevin Mack is going to be a huge factor in this football game, because you've got Biner, who is a great receiver. Now you got to give him the ball. He's got to carry it in the rush. You're going to wear him out to a certain extent. And I do believe
you're ready, man. We're going to get
ready.
you on the kickoff team.
This guy is the biggest guy on the offense for the Cleveland Browns in the second half. He's got to carry almost 80% of the load.
Dave Pizzuli's done a big job also filling at nose tackle for the injured Bob Golick. It is interesting on this bitter cold day that the turnovers have been so few. There has been just the one that I can recall. That was the interception by Fred Robinson in the end zone of Kosar to stop what appeared to be a sure touchdown drive. Browns had at the Indianapolis 2. No fumbles yet. We had Mack cough the ball up on the first carry of the day, but he got it back. And since then, there's been no balls fumbled away.
Don, on the positive side for Indianapolis, you've got Eric Dickerson for the rest of the game. Being a 14-14 score, and Paul McGuire mentioned that Indianapolis gets the ball to start the second half. And Don Shula mentioned now it's the time to get Eric Dickerson in the ball game. In the pregame show, we said the Colts have a chance to win this game if they can keep their offense in balance and go to Eric Dickerson in the fourth quarter. He's the guy who will win the game for you. Consider also Dean Biasucci. The kind of season he's had, it may come down to a field goal. I don't imagine Marty Schottenheimer is very comfortable right now. He's got some concerns.
Yesterday, Coach Ron Meyer was telling us of his relationship with Trudeau. He said, Trudeau thinks I don't like him. He said, that's not true. He said, I just don't think he's as good a quarterback as Hogaboom, but he's getting better all the time. He's only in his second year. But he had his best passing game ever here at Cleveland in the upset in December, and he's doing it again today as this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Line drive kick that Albert Bentley could have a problem with. Takes it at the 6. Looks for a blocking channel, and there's nothing there for Albert Bentley as he's to the 15, and that's it. So the Browns cover nicely as they squib kick the ball down the middle of the field, and the Indianapolis Colts will start out the third quarter 1st and 10. Here comes Trudeau.
And it's ironic, this is exactly where Cleveland started their first drive to begin the game, at their own 15-yard line. Of course, they went 15 plays, 86 yards to score.
2 touchdowns aside, both on throws. 2 for Kosar, 2 for Trudeau. Eric Dickerson held down so far. Comes geared for battle. There's every piece of protective equipment available. And with good reason. Every one of those 11 guys on the right would like to knock him out of the game. Downfield throw out to the 22-yard line. Nicely done. Caught by Matt Booza.
The only turnover of the game is pass into the end zone intended for Eric Tannell, the tight end. He falls down. Robinson makes the interception. It's Derek Tannell. Cost the Cleveland Browns points.
Gain of 6 yards on the play as Bill Brooks comes out wide to the right. He's against Minifield, the other Pro Bowl corner Hanford Dixon wide to the right. He's against Booza. As a screen pass goes to Eric Dickerson. He gets a block from Solt, and he's out to the 30-yard line, and the Colts have a first down. Mike Johnson, an inside linebacker, number 51, made the stop for Cleveland.
This has got to be blowing Cleveland's mind defensively. They expect Eric Dickerson to carry the ball so much in 1st and 2nd down, and they go to the screen to him. Great job out front by Solt, Donaldson, and then Dickerson puts his head down, hammers into Frank Minifield, good enough for a first down.
Linebackers for the Browns, there's Eddie Johnson, Lucius Sanford, Mike Johnson, and Clay Matthews the other, as Dickerson carries. Shifting step, looking to break it for the moment, but he only gets a couple of yards on a first down carry, as Eddie Johnson and Frank Minifield made the stop for Cleveland.
One thing you like about Eric Dickerson, you watch what he reads up front. Sometimes he'll completely bust a play, and he reads the opponent's helmets there and looks for that little gap in the defense. That time Eddie Johnson able to make penetration and shut him down at the line of scrimmage. Now this is the down that's really confused Cleveland. Indianapolis done a great job second down and long so far in this game.
Some unlikely totals for Dickerson, Trump. He has more yards receiving than he does rushing in the game. Here he goes again with the ball. Eric Dickerson is across the 35-yard line on a 2nd and 8 play out to about the 37, where Pazzulli, number 72, is making plays all over the field, was on the stop with an extra defensive back, number 23, Mark Harper.
First drive of the day they score. Last drive of the first half they score. You can feel the confidence building in this Indianapolis Colt team, given very little chance to compete, to keep it close against Cleveland.
The local papers had the Browns favored by more than 7 points. 3rd down and 4 for Trudeau. Timing pattern. Albert Bentley makes the reception somehow at the 49-yard line. Out of the backfield comes Albert Bentley for a 14-yard gain, and the Colts drive on.
That time Mark Harper in coverage. Well thrown by Jack Trudeau. Again, great pass protection. Time for Trudeau to throw. Don Shula mentioned at halftime that the Browns are not getting a lot of pressure on Trudeau. Bentley, a very sure-handed receiver, picks up a big first down for Indianapolis.
Got 35 passes in the regular season, did Albert Bentley, 2 for touchdowns. Now the Colts on the Brown side of the field, and Dickerson is popped. Shoulder pad high. Coming up the middle to get him was Pazzulli.
Pazzulli is having a great game against Pro Bowl center Donaldson. You see, he takes his side on Donaldson, and he's there to make the tackle before Eric Dickerson can barely get a step off.
Pazzulli is an aspiring pro wrestler, and he's replacing Bob Golick. Was an All-American wrestler at Notre Dame, as well as an All-American linebacker.
A real wrestling type. Golick was real. We're talking real.
2nd down and 11. Trudeau in deep trouble, is swept under. Mike Johnson sacks him, and Trudeau slow getting up.
First sack of the day for either team.
The field frozen solid as a rock. And a holding call on the defense on the play.
That will nullify the sack.
Give the Colts a first down.
Holding. Number 50 on the defense. First down.
Lucius Sanford, number 50, holding on the defense.
I've never seen a city as revved up over a playoff game as Cleveland has been. It's been a long wait here in Cleveland. They've not won a National Football League championship since 1964, when on a bitter cold December day the Browns shut out the Baltimore Colts 27-0. First down. Pitch back Eric Dickerson. Reverse and back to Trudeau.
Live ball. Live ball.
Trudeau dumps it off to Bill Brooks, and he's on the run. Big Daddy Hairston can't get him, and Brooks is down to the 30. Looked like something the Marx brothers drew up, but it worked.
That's not the way they put it on the blackboard, but it ended up being a very positive play.
Says, I'll take it.
No. This is read perfectly by the Cleveland Browns. You can see Clay Matthews is there. Ends up being a 15-yard pickup. The ball is still live. Nice little shovel pass forward to Bill Brooks. Ends up being a 15-yard pass, completed pass. First down, Indianapolis.
It's like one of those NFL films Follies plays.
That's the one you run in your backyard.
But it was good for a first down, and now the Colts go to Dickerson, and this time cutting back. He breaks into the open field and has a first down and takes the ball down to the 18 or 17-yard line of Cleveland. Mike Johnson making the stop for the Browns, as both teams today have opened the ball game. First drive of the day by Cleveland for a touchdown, and the Colts now driving here in the 3rd quarter.
Now look at this. This play is designed to go to the right. He cuts all the way back with very little blocking. The responsibility of the offensive line in front of an Eric Dickerson is when you make contact, keep contact. He will be there in a second. There's no way he should gain yards. He had no blocking whatsoever. Still picks up 10.
8:50 to go. Third quarter. Game is tied in bitter cold at Cleveland, 14-14. The underdog Colts challenging as Eric Dickerson takes it right up the middle behind a trap block and shoots down to the 9-yard line.
Pazzulli on the tackle, just able to get a hand out. He went by Pazzulli so quickly that Pazzulli really couldn't make the tackle. Watch what happens. Donaldson delays, and you see Pazzulli just gets his arm out there to slow him down, trip him up. I think Dickerson scores. That Cleveland defense right now wondering about itself. A little bit of disarray.
Colts at the Cleveland 10-yard line. 2nd down and 4 for the first down. Not much there for Eric Dickerson, and a penalty marker comes in from the referee, and a holding call is signaled against Indianapolis. So the Colts will be set back. Darrell Sims was putting the rush on.
I believe that Donaldson, the center. Let's see if it was on the center.
Holding. Number
Odell
66
watching.
on the offense. Still 2nd down.
He sees the flag. Takes it back 10 yards. I think it's 2nd and 14. Ron Solf.
Trudeau hot throwing the ball again from 7 in a row now.
This is now the 10th play of the drive, too. I'd look for that Dickerson screen right here. Let's see if they come up with it. It's worked in the past.
Dickerson fastens the chin strap. Trudeau, 6'3", 215 pounds. Big, strong, ready to face the rush, and here it comes from the Browns. Trudeau, wobbly ball, up for grabs. Is it intercepted? It is by the Cleveland Browns. Felix Wright comes down with the ball, and Cleveland has stopped the Indianapolis drive.
Ball was intended for Matt Bouza. Trudeau shouldn't have thrown it. This ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage, but Eddie Johnson is bearing down on him, gets his hand on the ball. It's up for grabs, and Felix Wright comes up with the Cleveland Browns' first interception of the day.
Today's game is brought to you by Chrysler. Chrysler believes a luxury car should be a great driving car. At Chrysler, we're driving to be the best. By GTE. GTE. And by Embassy Suites Hotels, where you get a beautiful 2-room suite for the price of a single room. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Bitter cold Cleveland Stadium. The Browns have stopped the Colts' long drive. The game still tied 14-14 as Kosar puts it up on first down and makes the connection to Ozzie Newsome. The 576th reception of his great career. And the Wizard of Oz gets the Browns out for an 8-yard gain.
Don, at halftime, Don Shula mentioned that Marty Schottenheimer was going to have to commit more guys to pressure on Jack Trudeau. Here it is. Eddie Johnson, the blitz up the middle. It produces the turnover. And the Colts had the ball for better than 7 minutes on that drive, but get no points.
Each of these 24-year-old quarterbacks with 2 touchdown throws today, each with an interception. Biner tries the middle. Colts are big up front, and those big, powerful linebackers throw him back. Johnny Cooks, Cliff Odom, Barry Krause, and Dwayne Bickett back the line for Ron Meyer's Indianapolis Colts. And Al Thompson, Byron Darby, and John Hand, the front 3. Willie Tullis and Eugene Daniel are at the corners. Freddie Robinson and Mike Pryor are the deep backs.
First down pickup by the Cleveland Browns. Keep the drive alive.
270-pound Texan Mike Tabb, who played for the University of Texas, down over the ball at center. Browns now with a 1st and 10 play at their 25. Kosar out pattern to Newsome. He's got the ball at the 43-yard line. Again, Indianapolis is unable to defend the rhythm timing pattern of the Cleveland Browns. At an 18-yard turnout, and Kosar right there on the break with the ball to Ozzie Newsome.
First 2 catches of the day for Ozzie Newsome. Last time the Cleveland Browns played the final game of the season against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Oz had 6 catches for 94 yards, his best day of the season. Kosar does a good job of looking off. He knows where he's going all day long. Newsome, nice job keeping his feet in. Another first down, Cleveland.
So the Browns move it out after the interception that stopped the Colts opening drive of the second half. Kosar ready to put it up on first down again. Sidearm throw. The ball is dropped at the 39-yard line. Webster Slaughter had it and lost it. He's a talking wide receiver. He'll chat with those defensive backs
and never stop. I think one of the problems Bernie Kosar has when he throws the ball sidearm is the ball tends to sink. You see that happen a great deal when Bernie at the last second just flips that ball out there sidearm. That baby dives for the ground, almost like a slider, a curveball thrown by a major league pitcher.
Jack Trudeau, looking like a downhill skier, ready for his next run, waits on the sidelines as Kosar operates now. Second down and 10, Cleveland. Deep pattern, long ball, it's up for grabs. And the Colts can't hold on to it. The nearest man to it, Mike Pryor, and on the one hop, Fred Robinson got it, so it goes as a long out. Incomplete pass, 3rd and 10 Browns.
Boy, did Kosar get hammered. Dwayne Bickett came on the blitz on the outside. Paul Farron, the offensive left tackle, 74. Bickett with a nice move. Watch this shot on Bernie. Boy, that turf feels a lot harder when you hit with 255 pounds on top of you.
Dwayne Bickett's had a spectacular year. One of the highest players drafted when he came out of Southern California 3 years ago.
Look at that. Look at that.
Colts picked Dwayne Bickett ahead of such all-pro talents as Jerry Rice and Al Toon. Don't regret it. He's been the hub of a fine defense. 3rd and 10 for Kosar. Sidearm throw, and he makes the connection to Brian Brennan for a Cleveland first down at the 45-yard line of Indianapolis. A 12-yard gain on 3rd and 10. Gary Wright was defending along with Eugene Daniel, but Brennan made the connection with Kosar.
That's 8 of 10 third downs converted by the Cleveland Browns today. Kosar's with Brennan all the way. Brennan knows he's going to get hammered. He finds the weak spot, the dead spot in the zone, hangs on for the first down pickup.
Undersized overachiever, they call Brian Brennan the all-time leading receiver for Boston College. When Flutie was his battery mate. Now it's first down and 10 for Cleveland. Miner looking for a hole, finds something, gets down to the 40-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play. Cliff Odom and Byron Darby were on the tackle.
I don't know, Don, that I have ever been in a ball game where each team has had so many long and sustained drives. I mean, it's remarkable. Both of these football teams in zero weather, hanging onto the football, converting the third downs up and down the field, and only 28 points scored. This is an all-timer to this point.
One turnover each way. 14-14, third quarter as Kosar looks deep again. Long ball to Newsome, and Ozzie Newsome comes down with it all. Inside the 25-yard line. And again, the 5-time All-Pro tight end beats the defense, turning out, and Kosar lobs a soft spiral right into his hands.
That's not only Ozzie's third catch of the day, that's his third catch on this drive. 17 yards. Newsome gets a good release off the line of scrimmage inside of Johnny Cooks. He's got double coverage out there. Cooks underneath, still able to catch it, keep his foot in bounds. Another first down.
The old pro in his 10th year from Alabama. Love down the field and off here in Cleveland, Ohio. Now has 3 catches for 43 yards, and the Browns in this tie playoff game drive on. Kosar out pattern again. Fontenot drives, and does he have it? He does. The Browns again make the connection on the timing pattern. Kosar again firing before his receiver breaks, and again the ball is right there when he turns.
Don, this is the way it works in practice. This doesn't happen in games. Now watch the way he drags his back foot. Look at that. Oh, man, is that beautiful or is that beautiful? Knowing, sensing where that sideline is, it's not supposed to be this easy. Not just for Cleveland, for Indianapolis, too.
Browns with the out patterns, moving the ball down the field. Now they begin to look at the end zone of Indianapolis. First and 10 inside the Colt 20. Miner down to the 16-yard line. Byron Darby was on the stop again. The nose tackle as linebacker Dwayne Bickett came across. Donnell Thompson also on the play for the Colts as the game clock winding on down to 3:55 to play, third quarter. The game tied 14-all.
Upcoming the 11th play in this drive. The Colts had the ball for the first 7+ minutes of the third quarter. The Browns have had it the rest of the time. Is it possible we'll have one drive by each team in the third quarter?
George Hill, the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts, and a man that Marty Schottenheimer openly admires for his talents. He said he's one of the very best. Now the Browns go at the Indianapolis defense. A straight-ahead power play on a first down carry is down to the 6-yard line. Ernest Biner got the call again as Kevin Mack has been out since early in the first quarter with a virus, intestinal flu.
Byron Darby on the tackle. I absolutely marvel at both these teams' ability offensively to go up and down the field. This drive started at Cleveland's own 14-yard line.
So reminiscent of an earlier drive at this end of the field by the Browns, though, when the end zone throw was intercepted by Freddie Robinson. Second down carry. Biner up the middle. He's close, but he's not in. Down to about the 1-yard line. Second down and 4.
Wayne Bickett makes the tackle from behind.
Third down comes up.
It does not appear, well, I take it back, the Browns can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Extra big people sent in. Manoa.
The Browns have been phenomenal this season, as you know, Trump, inside the opponent's 20. Over 85% of the time, they've gotten either a touchdown or a field goal when they've been down inside the 20. Sees something he doesn't like, and at this critical time with third down on the yard coming up, he calls timeout to get some counsel. Back to Cleveland after this. With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at Cleveland Stadium on an Arctic field, frozen tundra. The Browns have stopped Indianapolis on their opening drive of the second half after a long sustained drive on an interception. And now Cleveland on the excellent passing of Bernie Kosar, primarily to tight end Ozzie Newsome. And the Browns are down, challenging to go ahead for a third time in the game.
We show Haley because he's an eligible receiver.
It's 14-14. Browns led 7-0, then 14-7. Colts have never led in this game. Handoff Biner, and he didn't get there. Yes, he did. A second push. Got him in as the linesman comes in. Arms raised. And it's a touchdown call for the Cleveland Browns. And again, they've taken the lead, this for a third time.
I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't know that I've ever seen a game that has had longer drives than this one. That's a 13-play, 86-yard drive. Exactly the way the Cleveland Browns started the game. A 15-play, 86-yard drive. Great block by Manoa up front. Ernest Biner on second effort gets in the end zone. Had the ball almost 6 minutes. There's 1:56 to go in the third quarter.
Matt Barr puts the extra point up and good. So the Cleveland Browns score first in the second half, and they take a 21-14 lead.
Eddie Johnson came up with the interception. That started the Cleveland Browns' first drive of the second half. He put the pressure on, and caused the sack, or the interception, and resulting points.
You're going to the kick.
Ernest Biner on the payoff end for a second time today. You remember that touchdown pass from 10 yards out he caught to open the scoring. From East Carolina, 5'10", 215-pounder who delivers play after play, running, blocking, catching. Here comes Albert Bentley for the Colts. Across the 25, and that piston drive in his legs takes him to the 29-yard line. To begin, look at the Cleveland Browns' third touchdown of the day. Handoff, Ernest Biner. Head down, hit hard. Cliff Odom gets him, but he breaks the crust and gets through for the score.
This branch office automation project.
San Diego, the site Super Bowl 22 later this month. Right now, the Colts are down for a third time in the game, trailing 21-14. 1:46 to go, third quarter. Here's Eric Dickerson. He bounces to the outside and turns the corner as a marker is down at the line of scrimmage.
Again, he goes against where the play is designed to go. Let's watch the touchdown again by Cleveland. Watch the right guard. Tim Manoa, the fullback, gets a great lead block with the center, but watch what happens when Biner hits Dan Fike. Just fires him in the end zone. Second effort by Biner, and he gets in for the score. The penalty is going to go against the Indianapolis Colts. Once again, the Colts had 2 men in motion. Illegal procedure. What's happening is the tight end is not putting his hand down. And because of that, they consider him in motion.
But the Colts are going to have to keep throwing the ball successfully to come back on Cleveland. And those all-pro linemen have to protect the young quarterback, Trudeau, who's played very well. Must continue to as Indianapolis continues to find itself down by 7. That's been their story in the game. They come back to tie as the ball goes to Dickerson. Scudder stepping, then taking on the defense, and that 1st and 15 play is good for a gain of only 2 yards. Fazuli came across again.
Yeah. And Sam Clancy, look at the drives for the Colts scores today. 17 plays resulting in 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. And the Browns' number is even more remarkable. We'll give them to you when they take over the offense.
Ray Donaldson, a Pro Bowl center, out and over the ball. Chris Hinton, a Pro Bowl tackle on the left side. Ron Sold, a Pro Bowl guard on the right side. Kevin Paul and Ben Utt, the 2 other offensive blockers in this huge front for the Colts. Averages over 290 pounds. Throw and a catch. Eric Dickerson is knocked down at the 32-yard line.
Big tackle.
Short game, good for about 6 on a 2nd and 14 play.
That was Lucius Sanford. He had him, Dickerson, man-on-man coverage. Dickerson gave him just a little hip fake. That's a big tackle. Brown's doing a great job of shutting down the downfield receivers. Well, that's a big tackle, because if Sanford doesn't make it, that's a first down pickup by Dickerson.
We're inside, 20 seconds now to play in the third quarter. Colts will have the wind at their back. In the fourth quarter, it's not a strong wind, though. Trudeau on 3rd down and 8. Stands in, dumps it off, and Dickerson can't hold on, and Indianapolis has to punt the ball with 3 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Don, that's one of the few times today the Browns have been able to shut the Colts down on 3rd down. Both teams have been spectacular on 3rd downs. This is an outlet pass. Derek Dickerson, good coverage down the field. The Colts 6 of 9 in 3rd down conversions. That's a big stop by the Cleveland Browns. They've regained some control of this football game.
These 2 teams have been a storied part of the National Football League. Both came in as All-America Conference teams in 47, the other league at the time. One taken back by McNeil to the 49-yard line. So the Browns, with a 7-point lead, start this drive with good field position as we now have the end of the third quarter. The score, Cleveland 21, Indianapolis 14, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station. We talked to field position at the outset, Trump, and how important it was to both teams, and yet when the Browns had to go the long field, they've done it 3 times.
Remarkable. I mean, in 70-degree weather, perfect conditions, those are remarkable numbers.
We've got chill factors below 0 in Cleveland now as the Browns with a 1st and 10 at the Indianapolis 49-yard line. Opening play of the fourth quarter, 21-14 Cleveland. Biner takes on tacklers and just bangs his way down to the 40-yard line. A gain of 9 yards on the play. Tackle made by the free safety, Freddie Robinson.
This is the best field position for the Cleveland Browns to start a drive today. That punt by Ron Stark, 34 yards, a 16-yard return. That's just 18 net yards. And for the first time today, the Browns start inside the 50-yard line. And Ernest Biner, great second effort today, really carrying the load with Kevin Mack out.
Mack's been out Kosar calls a timeout. The Browns have just one remaining.
Would certainly cost the Cleveland Browns at least 3 points. That was right down at the goal line. I think the most impressive thing is just the third down conversions for both of these football teams done. They're going up and down the field. But let me make this point. In the first quarter, Kevin Mack for Cleveland had 6 carries for 38 yards, 3 receptions for 17 yards, 55 yards in a quarter, and he's still out with that stomach flu. Tim Manoa is nowhere close to the replacement of Kevin Mack. Eventually, I do believe that injury or that illness to Kevin Mack is going to be a huge factor in this football game, because you've got Biner, who is a great receiver. Now you got to give him the ball. He's got to carry it in the rush. You're going to wear him out to a certain extent.
The lights are on and the temperature is dropping on the shores of Lake Erie as the Cleveland Browns hold to a 21-14 lead. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, and Trump, this could be the knockout punch if the Browns can take it in here.
I agree with you, Don. I think this is to take control of the game drive for the Cleveland Browns. That's why Bernie Kosar was being very careful. Saw a formation he didn't like, takes the timeout. You can't make a mistake here.
Straight ahead run, and Biner on a 2nd and 1 might have enough for the first down. He'll be close.
Third quarter stats to this point. Colts have rushed for a grand total of 58 yards. You can see that's the major change in the Colts offense. Time of possession very even. The 1 turnover, the interception caused by the pass rush of Eddie Johnson on Jack Trudeau, a ball that never should have been thrown. Mark Harper with the interception. And the drive continues for Cleveland.
Pattern, out it goes, and this time Ozzie Newsome doesn't hold on at the 33-yard line of Indianapolis. Bring up 2nd down and 10 for the Cleveland Browns at the 37-yard line. We talked earlier of how the Cleveland fans have been waiting so long for a winner. Their last National Football League championship, 1964, when the Browns beat the Colts in a shutout that day, and the last baseball championship here was in '54.
Bernie Kosar was 1 year old in 1964.
The president of the Browns, intent, as you would expect on this big day in Cleveland with over 80,000 jamming his ball yard. Browns trying to come back from that bitter disappointment of a year ago as Newsome is open inside the 20-yard line. Down to the 15, and again it's the down and out timing pattern with Kosar releasing the ball before his receiver makes the break. This one good for 22 yards, and the Browns challenge again.
And again, it's linebacker coverage on Newsome. This time middle linebacker Cliff Odom. Kosar puts it right on the money. You can see 93 trying to catch up with Ozzie Newsome. I like that too. They throw the ball to Newsome. He drops one. Says, give me another chance. Next play, right back to him. 4 huge catches for Ozzie Newsome in his second half today.
The Browns looking to go to the American Conference Championship game for a 2nd straight year. They'll meet, if they win this, the victor of the Denver-Houston game tomorrow that you'll see on NBC Sports. Right now on 1st down, the handoff goes to Biner. Running with a vengeance, he takes the ball down to the 11-yard line. Tackled by the middle of the Indianapolis defense. Off the bottom of the pile is Donnell Thompson.
That's AFC conference championship game will either be here or in Denver.
Denver should beat Houston tomorrow. The Broncos would be on their home field at Mile High. If Houston should upset the Broncos, then the AFC championship game would be here in Cleveland for a 2nd straight year.
Just saw a picture of Ron Meyer. He's got to be very pleased with the performance of his team to this point. Very pleased.
Long way to go. 12:56 to play in the game. Browns lead by 7, challenging to up that margin to 14.
Wait a minute.
That's the last time out.
Yep. You had Slaughter and Brennan both going in motion. It looked like a long-distance do-si-do, and Bernie knew that wasn't right. Would certainly cost the Cleveland Browns at least 3 points. That was right down at the goal line. I think the most impressive thing is just the third down conversions for both of these football teams done. They're going up and down the field. But let me make this point. In the first quarter, Kevin Mack for Cleveland had 6 carries for 38 yards, 3 receptions for 17 yards, 55 yards in a quarter, and he's still out with that stomach flu. Tim Manoa is nowhere close to the replacement of Kevin Mack. Eventually, I do believe that injury or that illness to Kevin Mack is going to be a huge factor in this football game, because you've got Biner, who is a great receiver. Now you got to give him the ball. He's got to carry it in the rush. You're going to wear him out to a certain extent.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Bud Light, proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. Everything else is just a light. By Allstate. For home, auto, and life insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. By Alamo Rent-A-Car. There are over 4 million miles of roads in America, and with Alamo, all the miles are free. And by GTE, Telecommunications, consultant to Super Bowl 22. 12:47 to play. Jack Trudeau, the Colt quarterback, tries to stay warm while Kosar operates, and he has the Browns down close again. They lead this playoff game 21-14. Biner, with a season-high 80 yards rushing, gets a couple of more on a 2nd and 5 play. Browns used all their timeouts.
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't seem like a major factor as they have the lead and are driving for more, but it could be.
All 3 of those timeouts basically wasted, too. Double motion by Slaughter and Brennan on the last play resulted in the timeout. 2 timeouts called as the Browns were about to score the last time.
The defensive coordinator, George Hill, calling out the defenses as now the Browns spring out the Indianapolis defenders. 4 wideouts in the game. 3rd and 2 for the first down. 3rd and 5 for the touchdown. Kosar dumps it off. Biner has it. And he is knocked down at the 5. Didn't appear to get the first down. We'll see.
Cody Rison, the offensive tackle out there to try to help out, but a great job by defensive back Mike Pryor to get in Ernest Biner's way. They're going to send on Matt Barr for a field goal. Once again, Art Modell sitting on the edge of his seat. Almost. 4th down in inches. I agree with this call. Take the 3 points. It allows your team some breathing room.
Commissioner of the National Football League, Pete Rozelle, is here today. Pete positioned in an end zone box.
Any seat in this place is good today.
Kerry. Barr drills the field goal, and the Browns extend their lead now to 24-14. They held off the touchdown drive, but the Colts must come back from 10 down. The American Conference playoffs continue tomorrow at Denver's Mile High Stadium, with the Broncos, again with the best record in the AFC, will be on the home field to play the heavily underdog Houston Oilers, whose coach Jerry Glanville says we're going to San Diego. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen will be there to call the game. NFL Live will lead off the day. That's tomorrow on NBC Sports. As right now, the kickoff by Johnson. Lee Johnson is squid downfield. Linebacker Dave Aarons picks it up for Indianapolis. And he, a former high school fullback with both arms on the ball, takes it to the 38-yard line.
On to this point, the big play in this game after pressure by Eddie Johnson in the 3rd quarter really causes Jack Trudeau to bounce the ball up in the air. He'd like to have it back. Felix Wright comes up with the interception. Mark Harper comes up with the interception. The Browns go 86 yards to score on that turnover, and now have a little breathing room.
Jack Trudeau, in just his 2nd year in the National Football League, called on to start this season when the injured Gary Hogeboom could play no more. With all the pressure on him, he's got to throw to bring Indianapolis back, and throw he will on 1st down. Dickerson swings out. Trudeau stands in, and he almost throws an interception to Clay Matthews. Trying to fire a fastball between linebackers back in zone coverage. Eddie Johnson also had a play on the ball. The intended receiver was Matt Bouza, but it wasn't close.
Now, the one thing that Jack Trudeau cannot do here is get impatient. There's still 10:56 to go in the ball game, and you can see the Browns defense dropping back, total zone. Eddie Johnson just reading the quarterback's eyes. Matthews almost there to make the interception. Trudeau's got to keep his cool here. He's had an awful good day. Move the chains. Stay with the same game plan. Plenty of time for Indianapolis.
Very well played game. Despite the cold, only one turnover aside. Each quarterback with an interception. Trudeau pump faking, now throws, and he is almost picked up by no other than Dave Pizzulli, the nose tackle who dropped back. Bill Brooks was the intended receiver. So now the heat's really on despite the cold day on Jack Trudeau as he has 3rd and 10 coming up.
See Pizzulli right in front. He's on Donaldson. Pizzulli, after the pass rush, drops back, gets his hands up. Whoa, he almost caught that ball. They were trying to get the ball to Boyer. The H-back right behind Pizzulli didn't work. He's had a heck of a game today replacing all-pro nose tackle Bob Golick.
They've gone to Dickerson in the past on a couple of these big plays where they needed to throw on 3rd down. Dickerson alone setback. Hand off to Dickerson. He's not going to get a thing as he's totally shut down by the Cleveland defense. Colts looking to catch the Browns in an all-out rush with a deep zone coverage, and instead the Browns stay home and make the tackle.
Stay home is the point. Clay Matthews and Carl Hairston on the tackle. Matthews comes on the blitz. Hairston stays right in his pass rush lane. Nice idea, just didn't work.
Clay Matthews heading to the Pro Bowl in his 10th year from Southern California makes one of the most important plays of this game. Is every play and the importance of it magnified now as we start down the stretch in the 4th quarter. The Browns leading by 10 will get it back. Penalty marker down, a very high punt that McNeil takes. He's quickly down right at the 27-yard line. Jim Perryman, number 43, down to cover on special teams.
And that flag is against Cleveland. They're offsides. Clarence Weathers trying to get in there. That's a 36-yard punt. You see him. He cheats a little bit here.
And he's 4th and 12, though. They still have to kick it.
But still, you make them punt it again. You're hoping for a funny bounce off of Gerald McNeil because the Colts need possession.
We got a false start on the center. Cannot.
Oh, they called it on Indianapolis.
4th down.
Oh, wait a minute, I don't understand this. They're going to make them punt it again. I think Marty Schottenheimer wanted the ball down here. They'll take the. Oh, it's before the ball was punted. Before the ball was snapped. Therefore, Cleveland has no choice. They have to take the penalty.
And so Ron Stark, the athlete from Florida State, stands back inside the 25-yard line.
The center moved the ball, but I want to tell you something. That's one of the most common things in professional football. You see a lot of centers move the ball. That's not that unusual. The snapper is Kevin.
They're barking down there in that pound in the end zone.
That center was Kevin Hancock, and it's not unusual to see a center pick the ball up off the ground, especially on a snap.
And for Dixon starting the barking movement here in Cleveland. Got the team fired up. He came back to the huddle one day, the defensive huddle barking. They picked it up. The whole town's picked it up. Dog bones all over Cleveland. Go Browns. Stark stands in, hits a long punt downfield. McNeil takes it his 24-yard line. Tries to go wide. 142 pounds, and he gets out of bounds. Orlando Lowry ran him down for the Colts. 46-yard punt. 9:47 to go, and Cleveland with a 10-point lead and the ball.
Right now,
4 years ago, Kosar 19 to the left and Bentley 20 to the right for the Colts. Were teammates in the prime movers on offense for an Miami of Florida team that won the national championship, upsetting Nebraska 31-30. Just a week ago, the Hurricanes did it again under Jimmy Johnson. As right now, Ernie Kosar, looking to get his team to the Super Bowl, looks to run the clock. 9:35 to play. The Browns have a 10-point lead over Indianapolis.
last 4 possessions for the Cleveland Browns. Touchdown in the first half. Touchdown to start the second half. And a field goal. It's a touchdown to start the second half off of the interception.
Both defenders will be hunting the football. Got to get it back. It was a 14-14 game at halftime. Browns have scored all 10 points scored here in the second half. And look at the reception there by Herman Fontenot, a free agent Bengal Tiger out of LSU, who came to Cleveland when one of the LSU coaches at the time, Kurt Schottenheimer, Marty's brother, recommended him for a tryout. Now Kurt Schottenheimer is one of Marty's coaches here in Cleveland. Herman's an integral part of the Browns' success.
Sure, a pretty good judge of talent. That's a 10-yard completion. Freddie Robinson on the coverage.
First meeting against the Indianapolis Colts, Fontenot blocked a punt of Stark, set up the Browns' only touchdown. The lights are on at Cleveland on the shores of Lake Erie. On a frozen playing field, the Cleveland Browns in command of the game at the moment, leading by 10. Back to the run, not much there on a first down carry, a gain of 2 yards out to the 46-yard line. This game is the property of the National Football League. The Indianapolis Colts and the Cleveland Browns, all rights are reserved. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cleveland Browns and the National Football League is prohibited. Dickerson can't run the ball while Cleveland has it, and the Browns looking to sustain offense, keep the yard markers moving and the clock moving. 7:45 to play and running. Second down and 7 for Kosar. Back to the run, back to Ernest Biner, who's had a sensational day, and Ernest Biner responds again with first down yardage. He got 7 yards. Have to wait for the spot. Looked like he might have it where he was originally down.
Very close. Eugene Daniel on the tackle. I do believe this is going to be close enough to measure, but it brings up a third down and short. Reiner now 93 yards on 20 carries. He's been the busy back for Cleveland. Again, in case you just tuned in, Kevin Mack out with a stomach flu. This is the student body left. Reiner does a great job of getting that ball upfield.
Leading contender for most valuable player honors, Ernest Biner. His workload increased when his running mate in the backfield, Kevin Mack, went out with stomach virus early in the game. Third and short. Back to Biner in open field. Ernest Biner's in a foot race. He loses the ball. A Brown has a play on it, and a Cleveland Brown has the ball at the 6-yard line. So it's all breaking right for Cleveland as Herman Fontenot, following the play, alertly pounces on the fumble, and the Browns get still more yards, and they'll have it first and goal with 6:15 to play.
Colts had the right idea once Biner broke through the line of scrimmage. You'll see the tackler, Eugene Daniel, Pryor, 39. All he's trying to do is knock that ball away. Fontenot does a great job of knocking 42 out of the way. Willie Tullison picking up the ball. Great job blocking up front by the Cleveland Browns offensive line. There's Pryor knocking the ball away. Watch the block by Fontenot. Pushes Tullis out of the way and makes the recovery. Now, it wasn't fourth down, or it wasn't inside the 2-minute warning, and therefore the ball stands where the recovery was finally made.
The Browns could nail the lid on if they take it in here. Leading by 10 with 5:25 to play. Back to Biner behind the right side of his line. Biner's down to the 4-yard line. There's a yellow flag on the field. Is it a flag or is it something thrown from the stand?
Chances are something thrown from the stand.
Right down in front of that dog pound, you get a lot of dog bones thrown at the players as they get down that area. Biner's having maybe a career day.
He's our MVP. I mean, coming into this ball game, he was going to share duty with Kevin Mack. He has carried the load. He is the big factor in the ball game.
He did not come into the league as a celebrated collegian. Was a 10th round draft choice out of East Carolina. Browns, as you see, keeping that clock ticking. Second down and goal inside the 5. Biner knocked down at the 2. Red Robinson, number 47, came up on the play, and also on the tackle was Dwayne Bickett and Mike Pryor.
A still don't think there's anything for Indianapolis to be embarrassed about in this performance. They have played extremely well for their first appearance in the playoffs. Just 4 members of the Indianapolis Colts have played in the playoffs, and all 4 for other teams.
And it really turned from an interception when the Colts had that long drive to open the third quarter. Looked like they were going in to break the 14-14 tie, but the interception stopped it. The Browns went right the other way and scored and have been in command since.
This time Indianapolis takes a timeout. Oh, both. Everybody officials timeout? Oh, it is for Indianapolis. They take a timeout.
Ron Meyer, the Colt coach, who's worked a miracle in Indianapolis, turning his team around. He was described by the sports writer Jim Murray, said he's boyishly handsome, no lines in his face, but he has the eyes of the man who might shoot first. Now the scoring went. Then the Browns on a long reception by Langhorne. You remember when he got up and fought his way in? The 14-7 lead. Dickerson on the touchdown catch and in close. And in the third quarter, Biner powered in from 2 yards out, and Cleveland had a 7-point lead for a third time in the game. And the field goal by Matt Barr, and that's all the scoring so far. These 2 teams have given up over the course of the regular season fewer points than any 2 teams in the National Football League. Browns only allow 16 a game. The Colts only 15-9. But now the Browns holding the Colts under the Browns' defensive average, but Jack Trudeau can't get him in the end zone when he's on the bench, and the Browns have had the ball a long time.
Very fitting that this drive, probably the last offensive drive for the Browns in this game, end up in the face of the dog pound down there where all the rabid fans sit.
Kosar putting up some big numbers. He's thrown the ball, as you see, 30 times for 227 yards, the 2 touchdowns, and the 1 interception. He set a National Football League playoff record when he passed for almost 480 yards against the Jets in that overtime win here a year ago.
The thing about Bernie Kosar, too, is he very seldom has 2 bad games in a row against the same opponent. A very poor game against Indianapolis this week. He was watching film at 9 o'clock at night preparing for the Colts.
They're down and goal. He might play fake to Biner here and look for one of those 4 wide receivers running zigzags in the end zone. Downfield throw, and it's a touchdown for Cleveland as Brian Brennan beat the coverage, and Kosar was perfect with that lob throw, and the Cleveland Browns are going to the American Conference Championship game again. Extended their lead to 30-14, and it's over. It's been a great year for the Indianapolis Colts, a fine season, but 1 playoff game is it. And still, they have to go back to 1971 to the Colt franchise to look to their last playoff game winner.
On the man in coverage, Terry Wright never had a chance. Never had a chance. He doesn't see this ball thrown. Bernie almost puts it underneath Terry Wright's arm. The end of the end zone does not really run a pattern. He just releases up the field, and Marty Schottenheimer and Lindy and Fonnie and the Cleveland Browns sideline. It was certainly in doubt at halftime that they have taken over control of this football game. Watch Kosar. Brennan does a great job of just acting like the ball's not coming his way. Suddenly puts his hands up, 6 points.
Relieved owner on the Cleveland side. We've been trying to spot Bob Irsay in his box. He's over there somewhere. Haven't been able to pick him out. There's only 80,040 people in the building.
Yeah. Colts, though, have taken a tremendous stride for their future. Winning the AFC Eastern Division title, the acquisition of Eric Dickerson. Next year they'll have him for 16 games. They have an outstanding defense. Great many pluses for the Indianapolis Colts.
will get the ball back. Albert Bentley standing back on his 10-yard line, and the Browns will await the outcome of tomorrow's game to see on NBC Sports. And the Oilers meet the Broncos at Denver. Bentley to the 18-yard line, and this Cleveland team now is ripping it up on the field, in the stands. Cleveland's in celebration as Nick Miller came down to make the play on special teams.
The dogs are really be barking now.
Serious dogs back there. Great Danes. Pit Bulls. Post-game analysis will be going to Bob Costas, Gail Gardner, and Coach Don Shula. Paul McGuire and Ahmad Rashad are here at Cleveland Stadium. As we now have 3 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the game. Don Criqui with Bob Crumpy as the day turns colder. But Cleveland is in jubilation right now. Here's an out pattern, and Eric Dickerson can't make the play.
Underthrown by Jack Trudeau. Good pressure that time by Sims up through the middle. Trudeau had to throw it a little prematurely.
It's amazing, Trump, how this game really turned. The Colts were driving to open the third quarter. After tying the game in the last 2 minutes of the first half, 14-0, looked like they were going to take the lead. Since the interception, they haven't been here.
Yeah, you're right. The 1+2 for Jack Trudeau is throughout the season. He'd only thrown 6 interceptions.
Kosar took him apart with those out patterns, those timing patterns. Newsom with 3 in that 1 touchdown drive. Trudeau in deep trouble, throws it downfield, a little avail as he gets the ball to Albert Bentley out to the 23-yard line. Bentley was inbounds, and the clock continues to run with 3 minutes and 15 seconds to play.
So close and yet so far.
They'll be back.
Just too bad that your season has to end on a loss, but that's the only way it can happen for half the teams left in the playoffs. It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. But this is a great learning experience for the Indianapolis Colts. They know what it's like to be in the playoffs. They'll be a contender for a number of years to come with Eric Dickerson in that offensive backfield.
This game turned around fast. It was 14-14 in the third quarter. Then the Browns knocked the lights out. Kosar's passing. Barry Krause, who's had a big year, came back from full reconstruction of a knee. Former Alabama All-American. He's been a prime player for Indianapolis. Now the most valuable player, sponsored by Budweiser, and today's MVP is number 44 from the Cleveland Browns, Ernest Biner. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of today's MVP. Ernest Biner had some day. 23 carries for 122 yards, 1 touchdown. And they threw him the ball. 4 receptions, 36 yards, and a touchdown. He opened the scoring, remember, on that 9-yard touchdown throw.
The best thing about his performance, it was a performance under duress coming into the ball game. Mack is the big running back for this football team, but Mack out with the flu. All of a sudden, Ernest Biner was needed. He responded.
Group of Fulbright scholars with their shirts off.
I just hope neither one of those guys is the pilot on the plane that I fly back on.
Yeah.
They can be anything else.
Biner and Kosar combined in a lot of yards today. Right now, Jack Trudeau with 3 minutes to play in the game. Lobs went out to Eric Dickerson inside. It's out of bounds at about the 40-yard line, stopping the clock with, as you see, 2:58 to play.
Well, Don, it's interesting that Bernie Kosar has been asked for the last 10 days his feelings about not making the Pro Bowl team. It looked like he slipped on his wrist. Anyway, Bernie Kosar's response to all those questions about not making the Pro Bowl team, Bernie said Ernest Biner didn't make it. He should have made it before me. Today, Ernest Biner believed whether he goes or not, he is in fact a Pro Bowl caliber player. Looked like Dickerson landed on his wrist. He slipped out of bounds.
So while the most little cold is at 10-2 on the sideline. The clock is stopped with 2 minutes and 58 seconds to play. A year ago, the Browns, on a touchdown pass from co-star Brian Brennan, you may remember, seemingly had Denver's Broncos beaten in regulation. Then came the drive that they'll never forget in Cleveland or Denver. 98 yards. Elway left, Elway right, firing the ball all over the field, and finally Denver tied the game and won it on the Carlos field goal in overtime. Cleveland still trying to come back from that disappointment.
This is a 16-yard pickup. He's uncovered out here, but when he gets to the sideline, it looks like his feet slip out from underneath him when he just steps out of bounds. And see if he lands on his wrist. He gets, yeah, see, he puts his right hand down, and he's favoring his right arm and right hand there going to the sideline. Hope he's all right.
It's interesting, the saga. You see now he slips as he goes out of bounds and just bangs his arm, it looks like.
He gets a little push from Hanford Dixon, but yep, he lands right on his right wrist, right arm.
John Elway in that '83 draft was the first player picked by the then Baltimore Colts. Rights traded to Denver. Second player picked that year was Eric Dickerson by the Rams. Now he's a Colt. Trudeau up the middle, and Albert Bentley loses the ball at the 45-yard line with 2 minutes and 53 seconds left to play. 31-14. Cleveland in the lead and headed for the AFC Championship game, which will be in Denver. If the Broncos win tomorrow, it'll be here in Cleveland if Houston upsets.
This has been a very well played game under the weather conditions. Just 2 turnovers, not many penalties. We have not had a replay appeal from the officials.
Red Cashin and his crew, they've done a standout job, the officials. Nothing close to controversy in that area of the game, and now a downfield throw to Albert Bentley is good for a first down. He gets the ball to the 48-yard line. But time working against the Colts now, down by a 31-14 count. Just 2:36 to play for Coach Meyer and his Colts.
Now they're going to have a replay here. I just mentioned there would not be an appeal in it. I think there is a catch, so they're going to let the play stand. The umpire is standing over the ball. He steps away, and we go. This is what I believe they were looking. Whoop, back to live action.
Live action it is. Straight up the middle, Albert Bentley takes the ball on a 1st and 10 carry and gets it down to the 42-yard line where Dave Pizzulli knocked him down.
Here's what the replay officials looked at. Bentley catches it cleanly, therefore no appeal.
4-man rush, hard strike. Bill Brooks comes down with the ball to the 29-yard line. Another big gainer, good for 16 yards, and it's a first down for Indianapolis as the game clock is down to the 2-minute warning.
Indianapolis Colt report card. Frankly, numbers outstanding for Jack Trudeau. Numbers missing rushing yardage for Dickerson, but look at the 7 catches on the day and his only touchdown of the day. The 1 interception, the 1 mistake made by Jack Trudeau turned the game. That was it. And Dickerson with wrist bandaged heavily, ice on it, got the swelling. Unfortunately, he now has 6 months to recover.
Just hope it's only a bruise as Eric Dickerson goes out. Coach Schottenheimer ready to check the screen tomorrow when Houston and Denver tee it up at Mile High Stadium here on NBC Sports to see who he'll be playing in the AFC Championship game.
You know, Don, I don't think you can give Marty Schottenheimer and his staff enough credit for what they've done over the last 3 years. 3 years ago, they had 2 running backs gain 1,000 yards each. It was a brute force, fire at the line of scrimmage offense. Last year, Mack and Biner played just 7 quarters together. This year, with Mack, Biner, and Bernie Kosar, they spread it around enough to win the division championship 3 years in a row.
Trudeau throwing against a blitz. He's got a man down to the 2-yard line. John Waller Murray turned back upfield, makes his first catch of the day, good for 24 yards. With 1:46 to go, the Colts trying to get close. Murray didn't, unlike his counterpart, Langhorne of Cleveland, who got up and ran it in, was stopped before he could do it. Bentley is the setback. Dickerson out. Trudeau takes it. No sign.
Well, he's short of the touchdown. Back to the line of scrimmage. We try it again.
That's the game clock winding down. 1:18 to play. Bentley is the setback. Could be going right. Bentley over the top. He got it. Touchdown. Indianapolis with 1:07 to play. And it's a 31-20 game.
All he did was break the plane of the goal line with the ball. I don't think any part of his body was over the goal line. Watch once again. Now that our camera's about the 1.5 or 2 yard line. Well, he got up to his elbows in. That's enough. Points count.
So Albert Bentley gets in the end zone. He's had a number of touchdowns this year. That was his 8th rushing. He's also caught 2 pass receiving. Long drive, 82-yard drive in 10 plays for Indianapolis. Biasucci to put it up. Extra point is good. It's a 31-21 game, Cleveland. So we'll come back to see the Colts kick off one more time. A reminder that the executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NBC Football is Ted Nathanson. Coordinating producer of NFL Live is John J. Filippelli. Today's game was produced by George Finkel, directed by John Gonzalez. NFL Live produced by Tom Roy and Rick Diamond. NFL Live directed by Bucky Gunts and Bob Levy. Technical directors Lenny Stucker and Richard Sansevier. Replay director Kenneth Roy Edmondson. Our thanks to NBC statistician Elliot Kalb, and help in the booth from John Betchkill and Pete Halbin. So we're down to 1:07 to go, and Art Modell waving to his loyal fans.
The hands team now up on the field for the Cleveland Browns. Colts obviously going to go with the onside kick here. That's the Colts' only hope, is to somehow come up with a recovery on this onside kick.
They still need a 10-point play.
This is more timing than it is anything else. Nope.
It was touched by George Wansley before it got 10 yards.
Must go 10 yards for it to be a legal kick. It only went 5. Colts touched it.
Immediately following the game, a Super Bowl perspective on NFL Live is among the guests John McVay, the general manager of the Super Bowl favorite, the San Francisco 49ers, will be interviewed. Cleveland has to feel good about this. The Browns have not lost a game now since they were upset by the Indianapolis Colts December 6th. This will be their 4th consecutive win since then. 3:30 tomorrow. NBC Sports comes on the air with NFL Live, and then the Oilers and the Broncos kick it off at Denver, where Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen will call the game.
Actually, the Colts get a break here. They touched it early, so they get another chance at the onside kick. It must go 10 yards before any member of the kicking team can touch the football. They'll try it again, probably the same spot. I think they got it.
That'll work.
I think
Greg Swope had the ball.
It looked like
26.
It looked like Cleveland. Wait a minute.
You might have a replay.
Well, he just threw a flag, so I don't think they can go with a replay.
Short free kick. The second short free kick belongs to the receiver. First down.
Yes, but I don't know that that's right. I think the Cleveland player let it go, and you'll see the Indianapolis Colt player catch it with 1 foot on either side of the line. Whoa. I'll tell you what, you could look at that forever and wonder whether that's true or not. The guy who comes up with the ball is Craig Swope. Again, is he? Well, they're going to review it. It looks like they're going to review it. This is very, very difficult to look at. Now, he must go to that 40-yard marker. I can't tell if his foot is on the line or not. It does not appear that his foot is on the line there. We're talking inches here for that to be a successful onside kick.
Reviewing it in the press box, Art McNally of the NFL office. Here's another perspective from the end zone.
Watch his right foot. Where's his right foot? Ah, doggone it. We can't really see where his right foot is stationed. Is it on the line or is it over the line?
67 ticks left on the clock. 1:07 to play. Colts looking for possession, trailing by 10.
Let's make this point. The instant replay needs irrefutable evidence to overrule the officials on the field. The officials on the field have already made the determination that it was an illegal touch by the kicking team, and from what we've seen, I don't think they can overturn this call. It looks like his foot is across the line. His right foot is on the Colts side of the 40. Therefore, it is an illegal touch. And I believe the second time this happens now, the receiving team gets the ball. That's what Red Cashin called. I think that'll stand.
Red's about ready for that hot shower, isn't he?
I don't blame him. This is a great day to
90 players, six other officials.
This is a great day to flood the shower room. Warm up your tootsies. As you can see, both teams in good spirits even at the end of the game. The umpire is the man in communication with the replay booth. It's Gordon Wells. Joe Gardy is the replay guy. That's Commissioner Pete Rozelle. I think Cleveland's going to get this ball at the spot where it was touched illegally by the Colts.
Now we're getting word that they're going to reverse it and that the Colts are going to get it. So they'll be firing to end the game, but they're down by 10.
Now, wait a minute. I do think you have to apply other parts of the rules of the game. If that's a reception on the sideline and a receiver has 1 foot inbounds and 1 foot out of bounds, that's no reception. Okay?
Right.
Now, across the line, I think the same applies.
Based on review by the replay official, the ball was not ruled to have been touched until it went after 10 yards. It was recovered by Indianapolis. First down and 10.
Well, that's what they... I'm surprised. I am very, very surprised. It looks like that right foot was back over the 40. And if you make a reception on the sideline, it doesn't count unless both feet are inbounds. I think if you make a reception on an onside kick, it doesn't count unless both feet are on the right side of the 40-yard line.
But still, the dilemma, Trump, for the Indianapolis Colts, as we can observe clearly, is that they're 59 yards from the Cleveland end zone and need 2 scores. Touchdown on the field goal just to tie it. Not going to much happen there. Al Baker comes in and sacks Hogaboom. Trudeau. Hogaboom can't come in. He's on the sideline. Jack Trudeau hit down hard by Big Al Baker. That's how Trudeau went out earlier this year, and now Hogaboom went out for the season.
You see Baker coming around Chris Hinton.
Doesn't matter, we're told, Trump, where the feet are. It matters where the ball is. So
I don't know how that can be, because on the sideline, it seems to me that the same rules have to apply. But that's what the officials are saying, that it's not where the feet are, it's where the ball is.
Al Baker, who did a lot of sacking earlier in his career, he came in here from the Cardinals, was with Detroit. He was taking no prisoners. He was hunting ahead there as Sean Salisbury, a first-year player, ready to come in the game if Jack Trudeau's unable to go, and it doesn't look like he's going to be.
Very slow getting up. He not only got hit from the back by Al Baker, he also runs into the offensive tackle, Kevin Call. It's kind of a quarterback sandwich there.
Kevin Call, a 300-pounder whose nickname is Creature, and he likes it. In the Creature contest in Indianapolis earlier this year.
He won, huh?
He was the winner.
Is that good or is that bad?
He was quite pleased. Another big, strong-arm quarterback, Sean Salisbury from Southern California, 6'5", 210-pounder. See how far far he can throw because they needed to go the distance.
Played just a little bit in the Buffalo game late in the season. The last part of the Buffalo game. Very little NFL experience. Trudeau looks all right, but he got hammered.
So now a quarterback who didn't have time to warm up comes in as the Colts must pass the ball deep for even a miraculous finish, which is more than unlikely. Here's a good throw downfield, but the wrong side, and it's picked off. Now they really skipped off the turf into the hands of Felix Wright, who you remember had the interception that really turned this game in the third quarter. When with the score tied 14-14, the Colts were driving for what looked like a go-ahead touchdown. But Wright intercepted Jack Trudeau, and that was it. Colts haven't done much since.
Eddie Johnson with the pressure up the middle. The Browns didn't go with the blitz a lot today, but they certainly got great production off the blitz.
Both teams are out of timeouts. Third down and about 19. Luke throw downfield. Bentley has his hands on it but can't hold on. Now we come to fourth down with 51 seconds to play.
And here's the play. This is the end of the drive to begin the second half. Colts are driven from their own 15. Eddie Johnson right in the face of Jack Trudeau. Trudeau sees it. Johnson tips the ball. Felix Wright comes up with the interception. And that's when it began to go the Cleveland Browns way. Ball was intended for Matt Booza. That's the only turnover of the day for the Indianapolis Colts. And it took them right out of the ball game.
Salisbury sets his team, makes sure everybody's on the same page as he's going to let her rip long. Two wide out to the right, one to the left. Here comes the rush, a four-man rush. Hard throw, it's intercepted. Picked off by Minifield, and the Cleveland Browns could get another one as Minifield takes it inside the 10, the 5, and fights in. Touchdown, Cleveland. Took a beating in this one. It was expected to be a low-scoring game, and the Browns have now put up 37 points.
For Minifield, his first interception return for a touchdown of the season. He'll keep that football. It's a 48-yard interception return, and it's gotten out of hand.
37-21 Cleveland with the 38th point on the way off the foot of Matt Farr, up and good. 39 seconds to play, and the Cleveland Browns will kick it off again.
Salisbury tries to get this ball way down the field. Minifield standing right there. Looks like Bill Brooks, number 80, was the intended receiver, thrown way behind him.
Minifield knows where that end zone is, too. Weaving his way all the way through the offense of the Indianapolis Colts. Salisbury finally hauls him down, but he cracked the goal plane. Here's Coach Myers. It happened.
He's from the sideline, but he basically has no choice. Sean, Salisbury is the quarterback with Trudeau hurt. Certainly leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Here's the Pro Bowl selections for the Browns. They'll all go but Golick.
Browns led the league in Pro Bowl selections with 7. Colts were second with 6.
Again, ball should not have been thrown. Brooks, 80, is the intended receiver. There's some good blocking up front here for Minifield. There's Big Daddy Carl Harrison chugging down there. Power run by Minifield to the end zone.
5'8" cornerback who will start in the Pro Bowl for the American Conference. Puts the topper on for Cleveland. Here's the kickoff now downfield. It is picked up by Albert Bentley at the 15-yard line. Over with a serious problem at the 23, and with 33 seconds left to play, the Colts send their offense back out. Time for another Cleveland one, Perez.
Colts selections to the Pro Bowl, a tremendous nucleus to build on. Just tremendous. A great many things to be proud of for Indianapolis.
Colts haven't had 6 Pro Bowl players since 1976, when people like John Dutton and Roger Carr, Burt Jones, George Coons, Lydell Mitchell, and Tony Linhart were part of an AFC Eastern Division championship team.
Well, that's a while ago.
10 years since the Colts have been in the playoffs, 17 since they've won a playoff game. Salisbury dumps it off to Albert Bentley. Bentley breaks it across the 35 out to the 39-yard line. With 22 seconds to play, no timeouts remaining for either club.
They'll start celebrating for real now, Don.
It was 14-14 at the half, and the Colts looked like they were going to take the lead to open the third quarter. Then it changed fast. Salisbury to Albert Bentley, down to 1 second to play. Then to NFL Live, and tomorrow it's to Denver for the Oilers and the Broncos on NBC Sports. The winner to meet the Browns for the right to go to San Diego and Super Bowl 22.
They were 98 yards from that last year. They won another chance. Eric Dickerson does have the ice off his wrist. Certainly hope that he's all right. Appears to be, moving his hand around. Chip Myers, receiver coach, walking in front of him.
Incomplete pass, and that will do it. As the Browns, heavily favored, win by a big margin. Challenged most of the way. They opened it up in the second half. A playoff season for Ron Meyer, and his first full season as head coach of Indianapolis. And for Marty Schottenheimer, 3 years, 3 full seasons as head coach, 3 divisional championships, and for a second straight year, his Browns go to the American Conference title game.
And a tip of the cap to Ernest Biner. Had a whale of a game. 122 yards rushing, a touchdown receiving. He carried the load when Kevin Mack turned up ill in the first quarter of the game.
Bernie Kosar, who wanted to redeem himself from his off showing in the first meeting, he played superbly again. 38-21 is the score. We'll be back after this.